of show. Good to see you, Congressman.
Chris, good to be on a Friday evening, and you're right, it's too important for us to take the night off, and I really appreciate the opportunity to join you.
Appreciate you taking it. Now, let's stipulate, I am not somebody who has pushed back against physical barriers. You know this. I say if the men and women in charge down there say they need them, it's a political question of where, how much, what priority. That's always been my position. Now, my reporting strongly suggests that while they say yes, a wall, they were asking for other things that they said they needed desperately because of exactly what's happening now, and they didn't get what they needed. Right.
Well, you're 100% right that the Border Patrol agents who are down there dealing with this, what is definitely an emergency at our border, they wanted a whole lot of things. But what the president put forward in January, and what I think a lot of Republicans were talking about, I know I was, is the need for judges, the need for more beds, the need for more technology, the need for more fencing, the need for more roads lateral to the river, and a lot of resources beyond just the fence. Now, the fence, the wall, obviously was the headline point, but what the president put forward was not a plan. And what I was asking for was, and if you talk to Border Patrol right now, they'll tell you this above. And right now, you guys, Border Patrol says that in March we're going to have upwards of 100,000 illegal crossings.
Haven't seen anything like it since 2008. Although we have lived this through this before. So one point of pushback, and then let's see how we move forward. The pushback is, I would argue, the president never prioritized in any balanced way the wall versus all these other needs. He was all in on the wall. He sold it as a panacea in favor of a crisis that I don't believe ever existed. I don't believe that drugs and terror and murderers are what they were worried about as the border. They come through, but their main concern is what they're seeing right now, Congressman. They were worried about these kids and fragile populations where they have nowhere to put them and no way to process them. They're doing catch and release in ways they've never done it before, not because they want to. The president said they want to do catch and release. I won't let them. They're his people. He's they. They're doing it because they have no other choice. I believe the priorities matter.
Well, Chris, let me agree and disagree, okay? I think what you're saying in terms of the children and the crisis that we have at the border, the migrants who seek to come here who are endangered. You and I have talked about this before. The stash houses in Houston where they're paying ransoms back to the cartel. The women and the girls that are abused on the journey. Amnesty International say a third of them are abused. Now we're dealing with unbelievable numbers. Border Patrol now, they're actually catching and releasing them before they ever get to ICE. They're so overwhelmed.
That's right.
And this is all happening because the cartels, as you know, are profiting by moving people. In fact, the Reynosa faction of the Gulf Cartel will make now well over the $130 million we were originally assuming, moving people through the Rio Grande Valley. So you and I are agreeing that we have a humanitarian crisis, a crisis of children, but we cannot discount the dangerous individuals, the rise of MS-13, the extent to which, as I said, the Reynosa faction of the Gulf Cartel and the Cartel del Noreste of Los Zetas are now endangering the people at the border. Tamaulipas is a level 4 state, as you know, right across from Brownsville and
But they're coming volitionally
and that
also.
means it's more dangerous than Honduras.
But they're coming volitionally also, Congressman. They're coming legally, they're coming illegally, they're coming with cartels, they're coming in caravans from NGOs, they're coming alone, they're coming a myriad different ways. The president doesn't talk about...
Well, they are, but...
Go ahead, please make your point.
Well, they are, but they're kept heavily driven. This is a profit model that the cartels have. They have a whole business model.
I know, but if you talk to the guys down there
coming across,
and you show the people in the pens in El Paso and other places spreading out in McAllen, everywhere, because the rules don't work, right? You can come in illegally, right? But you can come in illegally, and when you catch me, I can say I want asylum, and I jump the line effectively.
Right.
You guys have to change that rule.
Which gets me to my second point, and I'm glad you're saying that. Really, this is great, and you're doing a good job on this issue, and I appreciate it. That second point is the most important, and it's something we've got to focus on. And I've been raising it over and over again.
Why isn't it getting done?
And
why is nobody talking about it?
Well, this is with all due respect, this is a Nancy Pelosi-led Democrat Congress in the House that refuses to address it. Now, look, in fairness, I think Republicans should have done it when they were in charge last year, fixed the asylum process. They should have fixed this,
But why not do it now? I mean, Chip, literally, why don't we go down there on Monday together? I mean, you're in Texas. I'll meet you down there. We'll go right to the border, show everybody, and say, the rules don't work. The rules don't work.
I'm in.
And where are the judges? Where are the resources? Have an emergency order. You got the emergency declared. Instead of moving the military to build fencing, get them over there and help process these cases.
Well, Chris, I'm happy. I'd be happy to go to the border. Let's do it. Well, I'll talk to your producer and let's get down there.
I'm the producer. I'll call you right after
attention.
the show.
Well, let's
I'm
do
not going to
it.
drag them down there. I'm going to go.
Yeah, but let's seriously, let's go do it. And let's bring the spotlight on it. That's why I went down there with my friend Dan Crenshaw. That's why I've been talking to a lot of Border Patrol folks, trying to stay in touch with what's actually happening. Look, I think that the administration is trying to deal with a very complex problem where they're a little bit over the barrel based on a ruling by a judge, creating a catch and release situation where it's difficult to manage. And I think they ought to take a more aggressive approach.
They also prioritize the fencing over these other systematic resource issues. And I get why politically, but practically now you have a problem that a wall isn't going to fix and you couldn't build it fast enough anyway. And his fix now, the president, is close the border. You know that doesn't make sense from a commerce standpoint, and you know it doesn't fix this problem. I know it sounds tough, and I know there's an aspect of the base that'll buy it, but you know it's not the fix, Congressman.
Well, look, I think the fix is zeroing in and having a policy where, like, for example, Sylvester Reyes, a Democrat from El Paso, prior to Congressman O'Rourke, who helped advance what we called Operation Hold the Line, where Border Patrol worked with local law enforcement and feds to hold the line on the river. And then that ultimately led to the fence being built in 2008, which, by the way, now Congressman O'Rourke says he doesn't want. And that brings me to my final point that I have to say.
Wait, but first, let me get you on the record. Do you think closing the border is the right thing to do and saying that this is all Mexico's fault, we're going to stop trade? You think that that's going to make this better?
I don't think that anybody wants us to do something as drastic as shutting down the border.
You just said it.
I don't think that is, but I don't think that is the first choice. But I also think we need to do something very significant very quickly to deal with the fact that we've got a situation where so many people are coming across the border and so many more are coming that we've got to send a signal very quickly. So we've got to work with Congress. Congress needs to take it very seriously. And what I was about to say is that Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats in Congress have no interest in actually working to solve the problem. And
that's not what they say,
because
though.
this is real.
They say they believe in these fixes. It was the wall being a panacea and him wanting a disproportionate amount of money for it that they found objectionable.
What barrier, name one barrier to Nancy Pelosi putting a bill on the floor of the House of Representatives on Monday that would solve the problem? There isn't one.
Listen,
there's not one single barrier.
I don't have a problem with the criticism, but I'll tell you what, you can get it done faster with the emergency declaration. You can get it done faster if Republicans say, Mr. President, stop proposing solutions that make it worse. You're going to foment tensions with Mexico. We need them. Your DHS secretary went out of her way to say Mexico's been a good partner with these caravans. Don't trash talk them. Work with them. I just don't get why you guys let them go.
Well, keep in mind, I mean, look, I would like to be as aggressive as we can be. If it were up to me, I'd be pushing really hard to say, look, let's ignore the Flores settlement and let's hold children and parents together in a place. Let's build beds. Let's pull them together in a safe environment. Make sure that we don't have people who are abusing kids as posing as dads. And you know and I know that that's a real problem.
That's bad, but they need places to keep the kids.
Check them.
They need people to process.
I agree.
They need medical.
I agree.
And if it doesn't happen, we're going to have tragedies. And how can we not feel shame if that happens? So, Chip, Congressman, let's do this. I'm going to let you go. I got a Democrat coming on later on the show. He's going to get the same stick I'm swinging at you because that's how we do it on this show.
Right.
But I'm going to contact you. I'm going to find out from my sources the best place for me to be. I'm going to go. If you want to come, you're welcome.
Let's go.
The more voices, the better. Congressman, thank you.
I'm in. Let's go to the border. Thanks for having me on and for taking this issue so seriously. We need to secure the border, and we need to do it quickly and stop this flow. So
even if you don't let people in, you've got to treat them with respect. That's what this country is all about. We can be humane and be strong. So I
agree, but the Border Patrol is working hard to do that with the limited resources they have.
They are
just
great.
Overwhelmed.
They treat it as a humanitarian issue. When there are problems, they are the minority. Nobody's perfect. This is the biggest police force in the world that CBP has to oversee down there under DHS. Not to throw alphabet soup at everybody, but you know what I'm talking about. I'm not blaming them. They are overwhelmed. They need help, not more hindrances to their work. So I'll contact you right after the show.
Let's work together to do that. And Chris, I appreciate it.
Done. Be well, and thank you for being on the show. All right, now, like I said, we got a Democrat coming on. I'm going to talk about Mueller, how they